Hey man, how you doing?
Aw, man, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great, man. I'm just chilling here at Larry's. What brings you in tonight?
Oh, man, my girlfriend, man, she started cheating on me.
Well, that's pretty horrible. You know what's even more horrible?
Nah, man, what's even more horrible?
Bands that broke up because of cheating.
Oh, yeah, that's more horrible? I doubt it.
Yeah, man, I tell you, when Fleetwood Mac broke up, it made me a lot more sad than when you and your girlfriend broke up.
Yeah, thanks.
Listen in, man. I got a little story for you. It was 1977, and Fleetwood Mac
Oh, sick, that's my dad's favorite band.
put out an album called Rumors, like the things I've been hearing about you and your girl.
What?
Right. Shh. Nah, Brev, I'm just playing. Not all things are bad when it comes to breakups. Now check it. So Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors, right, released in 1977, is a testament to their extraordinary power of channeling their personal pain and putting it into musical art. Like seriously, man, the album's tracks had such like Go Your Own Way, Dreams, you know the one, now they all gone again, because of TikTok. Right. Yeah, man, you want to talk about some cheating? Stevie Nicks was the sole writer on the song Dreams, which she wrote in like 10 minutes in Sly Stone's bed. No kidding. She said that in an interview with Blender. Then bam, another song about cheating. Check this. You Make Lovin' Fun, the song that was written by Christy McVeigh. She's another one of the band members. She had an affair with Fleetwood Mac's lighting director, and then she told her husband it was about her dog. Dude, there's a song on Rumors called I Don't Wanna Know, and they would never perform this song live because it was just too hard for all of them to come together and sing that song knowing what was behind it. Crazy. Well, there was one thing that the band didn't cheat on, and that was drugs and alcohol. Unfortunately, cocaine became a huge factor within their band, so much so that is actually how we have the song Gold Dust Woman. Dreams, of course, not only being primarily about cheating, but I guess you could say it is a cheat code as well. Do you remember in 2020 when Nathan Apodka on his skateboard started rolling out with some cranberry juice using the song Dreams? That would actually be the second time that song entered the Hot 100 chart, and the first time it ever did it was in 1977. The album spent over 30 weeks at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. That's way longer than you and your girlfriend. Out of all the albums ever created on the planet, Rolling Stone magazine ranks Rumors as number 25. Even after all the success, the band still broke up after 1977.
Was that supposed to make me feel any better?
Yeah, bro. And you know what? You look a lot better after hearing that story, too.
Oh, I do?
Oh, yeah, you do. So with that, I got another one. Let's roll.
Okay. Hey, welcome to Larry's. Yo, who's he saying that to?
Oh, he just says that every once in a while. It makes him feel better about people not actually sitting here at the bar.
Well, that's cool. We're here. That last story wasn't so bad. What else you got?
The Beatles, baby.
Oh, yeah, like all those insects that went and killed all those trees in Colorado.
No, man. The band. Anyway, listen up. Let's go.
All right.
So now, it's hard to pinpoint specifically what events directly caused the breakup of the Beatles, right? But there were significant moments that contributed to the tensions with the entire band that were over. So check. From 63 to 68, Paul McCartney and Jane Asher were a high-priority A-list couple, literally engaged to be married, and for some reason, Paul began to have personal interests drifting elsewhere. So on the side, he starts seeing this American star. Her name is Francie Schwartz, and of course this is going on behind Jane's back. So what do you know? Jane's at a gig one day, and as it goes, that gig gets out early. So what would you do? You'd probably want to go home and relax. So that's what Jane did. And when she gets home, guess what she finds out? Bam! Paul and Francie in the bed together. And not just any bed, but Jane and Paul's bed. That's some dirty, dirty business. So obviously Jane has heard about this entire situation, but just later that year, an opportunity presented itself where they got to go on live TV together. So Jane Asher and Paul McCartney get onto this particular talk show, and at that time on live TV, Jane Asher ensues an entire breakup and breaks the engagement off and breaks up with Paul McCartney right there on live TV. It was epic. And then there was the affair between George Harrison, the guitarist for the Beatles, and Maureen Starkey. Dude, she was the wife of the drummer of the Beatles, Ringo Starr. nuts. The affair obviously created tension and rugged emotions within the band and had far-reaching consequences for everyone's personal lives. Definitely a factor for why the band broke up. One of the largest stories out of the Beatles, of course, is John Lennon. A lot of the people who follow the Beatles for a living would tell you right there and then, this lady right here was the reason for why the Beatles broke up. It was in 1969 that Yoko Ono and John Lennon staged a series of bed-ins for peace as a form of protest against the Vietnam War, right? And these events attracted a significant media attention, like everybody was watching, and showcased Lennon's growing activism and Lennon's relationship with Yoko Ono and his disillusionment with the band's creative direction. It gave him a ton of conflicts that led to announce his departure from the Beatles in 1969. Die-hard fans feel that Yoko Ono was fueling those thoughts. Unfortunately, Lennon departed the band directly after recording the Beatles' Abbey Road in 1969, and Paul McCartney announced that the Beatles were done in 1970.
Yeah, man, these stories are pretty good. You got any more?
How about a little Guns N' Roses, baby?
Yeah! Who are they?
Welcome to the jungle! We gotta know them now!
Yeah, I know that song.
Yeah, I know the words.
Cool, man. Tell me more.
So cheating was one of the significant roles in the breakup of the original Guns N' Roses lineup. AXEL Rose, the lead singer of the band. Man, he had a crazy relationship with ERIN Everly, the daughter of Don Everly from the iconic duo, the Everly Brothers. So the romance between ERIN Everly and AXEL Rose was jacked up, and that's part of the reason why Guns N' Roses broke up. Let me explain. Dude, AXEL Rose actually slept with his drummer's girlfriend and recorded it for a track on purpose. Check this, 1987, the band was recording the song Rocket Queen, a sicky little track about, well, you know, getting it on. So anyway, at that time, this girl, Adriana Smith, she's 19 years old, is dating the drummer, Steven Adler. Now here's the thing. Steven Adler had just recently cheated on her. So for revenge, she decided to get all drunk and hook up with AXEL Rose. And not only that, they decided to record the audio of the act. And you can hear Adriana's samples in Rocket Queen around minute 2:30. That's legit.
Man, that's... I hope my girlfriend doesn't do that.
Well, you're not a rock star, so don't worry about it. Now, as you're about to find out here, Adriana and AXEL Rose kind of created a special little bond. Check this out. Did you know AXEL Rose actually punched David Bowie?
Who's David Bowie?
Oh, boy. One story at a time, yo. Check it.
Hey, welcome to Larry's.
Yo, so check this out. It's 1989, right? And Guns N' Roses has decided to make a music video of their song, It's So Easy. So, of course, they're going to need a film set. Word up. Now, they're in their film set one day, and they're doing their work, and what do you know? David Bowie decides to roll up on Guns N' Roses while they're doing their filming. Now, I got to tell you, back then, at that time, David Bowie rolls up on your music video, you're kind of a big deal. So while AXEL and Guns N' Roses are busy doing their musical work on their video, David Bowie decides to kind of roll up on Adriana side stage and kind of starts chatting her up and rolling in on her. And at the time, AXEL Rose kind of notices what's going on, decides to stop the filming of the music video. Everybody's kind of going like, what's going on? AXEL rolls up to Bowie, says, yo, what are you doing? Rolls back and bam! Punches him, throws him off of set that day. Man, the cheating and the infidelity really caught up to AXEL Rose after a while. It extended way past his personal life. Ultimately, Slash and McKagan, they left the band because of it. And so, Guns N' Roses, once a powerhouse of rock, had succumbed to the conflicts and creative differences and destructive impact on infidelity and cheating. Guns N' Roses broke up in 1996.
Man, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they had it pretty crazy when crazy was crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You want to hear something more crazy?
Take me to the crazy house.
The Mamas and the Papas, icons of the 60s.
Like before the Civil War?
No, the 1960s, dude.
Right, I knew that.
Known for their songs like Dedicated to the One I Love, California Dreamin', and Monday, Monday. You know, Monday, Monday. This unreal history of the Mamas and Papas is like none other. And it's also like the #1 example of how too much free love and way too many drugs will take away your flower power from the 1960s. And ultimately, it's the reason for the demise of the Mamas and the Papas. Okay, so try and keep up. First off, there's 4 original band members of the Mamas and the Papas. That is Mama Cass Elliot, Denny Doherty, John Phillips, and his wife, wife, Michelle Phillips. Okay, now check this out. These are the affairs that happened within the band. Okay, so now, of course, John Phillips and Michelle Phillips are married, and even though they're starting out the band fresh, Michelle is already starting out to have wandering eyes. She starts an affair with Denny Doherty. So now John kind of catches wind of this, so he starts doing a little bit of investigating. Not only does John find out that Michelle is hooking up with Denny, he also finds out that Michelle had another affair with Gene Clark of the Byrds around the same time. John's pissed. Kicks Michelle out of the band. But don't blink now, because now that Michelle's out of the picture, Mama Cass now decides it's time to move in on Denny. This is ridiculous. Denny said that didn't last too long. He wasn't very interested. And he was quoted by saying, "Cass wanted me, I wanted Michelle, John wanted Michelle, Michelle wanted me, and she wanted her freedom." A complete and total mess of drugs, sex, and relationships that eventually led to the band's demise. But we can't stop there. So now we're talking about the love triangles outside of the band. Michelle's at it again. She's having an outside of the band affair with Roman Polanski. That story has links to the dark days of the Manson murders. Dude, I don't even want to go there right now. That's just gross. But to add more implications to that particular story, Mama Cass had associations with the Manson murders because not only one, but two of her ex-boyfriends were dealing drugs in the circle of those people. That story only gets darker. Time to switch lanes. Now, while Michelle was having affairs all over the place, man, I gotta tell you, John was no saint either. Check this. John starts having a secret outside affair with Mia Farrow while her husband was out on tour. Do you know who Mia Farrow's husband was at the time? Frank Sinatra. So when Frank Sinatra finds out about this affair, he used his ties with the Chicago Mafia boss, Sam Giancana, to send Phillips a warning. The understanding is that John Phillips ended up buying some guns and weapons to protect himself and ended up sleeping with those at night instead of Mia Farrow. This next story is about John and Michelle and one of their kids. Check it. John and Michelle had always wanted to be a part of the rich hippie lifestyle, so they bought this monster-sized home up in Bel Air. Living in Hollywood, they wanted to be part of all the exclusive parties, so they had parties of their own. They'd invite movie stars and rock stars like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. So John Phillips and Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones become really good friends, and ultimately, they become really good drug buddies. So Phillips and Richards took a shot at trying to write an album together in the 70s, but instead, they hung out in the studio and started shooting up heroin instead. This did not sit well with Mick Jagger. So Mick, being Phillips' rich hippie lifestyle friend, he invited Phillips and his daughter, who was 18 years old at the time, Mackenzie, over for lunch, and they would do this frequently. Lunch consisted of tuna salad sandwiches. Why? And he would do this every time. I mean, every time. He would look at John and say, "Oh, Johnny, I do believe we are out of mayonnaise. Will you run to the store?" And of course, John, being a good friend, would run right to the store. And right as he did that, Mick would lock the front door, and Mick and Mackenzie would engage to have sex. Obviously, these intertangled relationships make everything so difficult for any band to try and stay together. And ultimately, for the Mamas and the Papas, this is one of the biggest reasons for why they broke up in 1968.